I'm Claire from Creative the Ottaway. I'm an independent demonstrator for Stampin' Up in the UK. I've got a really nice tutorial for you today, similar to a version that I've made previously. If you subscribe to my videos, it was the baby block card, and it folds flat for folding. Well, this is slightly bigger, and this is an accordion step card, so I'll try and show you it. It folds into itself like that, so it's slightly bigger in that you need a 6x6 envelope for posting. But you can see the steps there. Now you could fold this lots of different ways. I've chosen to have this piece at the back with my message area to write a personal message. You may decide that you want to decorate the whole of the front of the card, and you could put the personal message on the back very easy. So what I tend to do on my videos is show you how to make the base of the card, give you some ideas of decorating, and then let you go away and make it your own. And then please do share with me your makes. It's really inspiring for me and for other people. So we all have a different take on things, and what you like one day you won't like the next. So how do you make this? Okay, it is fairly simple. I've tried to make it as simple as possible. Let me get the sizes for you while I talk about it. So that's what you're going to need. What have I used in mine? I've used some Night of Navy card, let's bring that back there, as my background piece. I've layered it with soft succulent and the basic white, and then I've used some of the New Horizon designer series paper, which I know is retiring or going soon, but if you're anything like me, you've got a little bit of a stash, and it's no good it's sitting in your cupboard. Let's get it out and cut it. Okay, this has got lots of being two-sided, lots of images that you can use. If I lay my card out flat, you can get a better idea. So what I've done is use one of the pieces here that's got quite a landscape scene, I would say. It's got some flowers along the bottom. I've done nothing more to this. I've not done any stamping, and it looks perfect as it is. And then I've just cut off some of the other pieces to fit around it, and I decided to have a couple of extra sentiments on two of my squares. Now you could just cover the whole of this in pretty designer series paper. Goodness knows Stampin' Up have plenty of it, and as it's two-sided, it's always quite a challenge to which to use. And like I say, you could put your messages on the back. To fold, you could send it flat like that, but then quite often people don't actually know how your card's supposed to come together. So if you push that bit back and send it in the card like that, as soon as they open it, they can see how it's meant to stand. Some of the cards that we card makers make, we're really wowed with them, and then the person at the other end isn't a card maker and they just open it and they don't really get the concept. So this is quite a good one for showing off how it's supposed to be as soon as they open it. So let's craft. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need is a sheet of A4. This time I'm going to do soft succulent as my background, just because hopefully you'll be able to see the cut and the school lines a bit better. I'm quite a fan of Night of Navy, but videoing is a no-go really, especially with this weird spring light that's outside. So A4 sheet of soft succulent is what I'm using. I am going to cut it on the short side at 6 inches, and I'm just going to do the whole length. Okay, so 6 inches. That bit we're not going to use on this card, so I'm going to put that out of the way. And I'm going to turn it sideways, and I'm going to cut it at 10 inches. Okay, so I'm just going to do that. There. So I've cut that extra bit off as well, don't need that. So I've now got a piece that is 6 inches by 10. We're going to concentrate on the long side for a moment and do our score lines. So you want to do one score line at 4 inches. So remember, don't cut This is my third go at making this video because I cut it off each time rather than scored. These are the things you don't see. So 4 inches and then again at 6 inches. Okay, remember, score, not cut. Then I'm going to turn it sideways. Okay, so I've now got the shorter side at the top. And I am going to score at 2 inches to the second score line. So I'm not going the whole way down. I've marked it at 2 inches and I'm just going to this score line here. Now what I tend to do is bring my scorer to where I want it to be. So I'm using this line here as my guide and the little line on the edge of my Stampin' Up trimmer, and at 2 inches I am scoring up, and that's to stop me going any further. I just have a little look, make sure it's okay. Now I'm going to turn it, no I'm not going to turn it, ignore that. I'm going to go to 4 inches, so the same bit, and this time I'm going to go from the score line down. So I'm not going to score this bit, that's going to be one of my big squares. So I'm going to bring my Stampin' Up trimmer, we'll double check that it's at 4 inches, there, and I'm going to go all the way down. Okay, so that leaves you, oh, can you see that? That looks a bit dark. So I've got one big square here, a little square here, then a rectangle, a big square here. So opposite is big squares, and you've got like 3 squares in the middle that are scored and a rectangle here and here. So now we need to score in these rectangles. Okay, so on this one, so I've turned it around to the long side now, and I'm placing the edge of the card at 2 inches, and I just need to score here. So I am doing the same as what I did just now. I put the scoring blade on this line and go down, and then I've got a score line there that makes that rectangle into 2 even squares. And then you can either turn it round and do that again on here, or you could do it at 8 inches. It's entirely up to you, but you need to turn this rectangle also into 2 squares. Now this is quite a nice card to make because it's not strange or odd sizes. It's all in multiples of 2. Okay. So now what you should have is 3 little squares there, 3 little squares down, 3 little squares along, and 2 big squares. Ta-da! Okay, the cutting. So let me put that arm in so I can see. So what you are going to do is fold back where that big square is, fold back on that score line. Okay, now this first score line here you need to cut. So place it at 2 inches, get your cutting blade back, line it up with this line again, but it's the cutting blade, and go up, and that should cut through your 2 pieces of card, and you should have that bit cut. Okay. Now you're going to unfold it, fold it this way instead. So now you've got the big square here, okay? And you're going to do the same here. So that is going to be at the 4-inch mark. And you're coming back to this score line here, the first square. So press down and then go up, okay? And that should leave you with a cut line there and a cut line there, okay? So I'll show you that again. So that's it flat. I fold back so I've got my square behind, and I find the 2-inch mark there. This score line here is where I'm going to cut up from. So I get my cutting blade, I place it at the mark and cut up, and it gives me that tab there. Okay, so cut line there. Then I fold it back. So I've now got my other square here, place it at the 4 inches, and I do a cut from this score line, okay, up, and that gives me that piece there. And believe it or not, ta-da, that is it. So just to help the card, so you know where you want it to be, okay, so if you press down on that square there, like so, that automatically wants to fold over, and you can already see there's a step. So bring this one up at the same time, and can you see? That's your step. And if you just bring that over and just burnish that down with your bone folder, that is your card. And it's as easy as that. Okay, so to decorate, bring in some of the pieces that I've got. I'm not going to decorate this all because that's not what you need to see. So you need 2 squares, and I've cut these at 3 7/8 by 3 7/8, and I've done that because this is a 4-inch square. Okay, so I will glue that in place there, and I will glue another one here. Now think about what I would do is cut all my pieces out and then play around with them before you start gluing. So on my original card I put the sentiment here, but maybe I want it here, or maybe I want it on the back and I just want this to be all pretty. It's entirely up to you. So the background square is always 3 7/8 by 3 7/8, and then the layer of the designer series paper that goes over the top is 3 3/4, and that just gives you ever such a small frame all the way round. Now some people would rather have a 1/4 inch border, so just adjust your sizing. For the little squares, so the background pieces are 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. So I would put that one there, and maybe a white one there with a sentiment on. And then the designer series paper that goes over the top is 1 3/4 by 1 3/4. So really simple, easy to do. Just have a play around, have a feel for what you want. Decide on the sentiments that I used on my original one, this one. So on here I used inspired thoughts, and I did it slightly over so that you could still see it when the card was closed. And I also used the happy birthday from that. And then these ones, that one, ooh, what was that one from? That might have been from the seashell set. Not sure, and that's definitely from the set with the bee in. But what I always tend to do is get a load of sets out that I like the sentiments, and then have a play around with what fits. I hope you've enjoyed watching it. I hope you give this simple accordion step card a go. Try it in a few different colours, a few different pattern ways. You could stamp on there if you've got the In the Horizon die set. You could add some detail. I'm trying to keep the weight down for posting, so mine is just using the beautiful designer series paper to showcase. Thanks for watching. If you liked my tutorial, please subscribe, and of course send me photos of your makes. I love to see them at creativetheottaway@gmail.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.